Hello coders, welcome back to my video. So in the last video, we have seen the basic of using a libcurl library in C. We have seen few of the APIs. We use that and I told you how to use that APIs as a part of a program, but we haven't seen the practical implementation of that. Okay. So first in this session, we'll start with the APIs that is there in libcurl. So if you see here, we have a website which will give you all the functions that you can use as a part of libc library. Okay. And what we will do in this session is first we will create a server and then we'll use a C program using these APIs and we'll try to fetch some data from the server itself. So it will be a full end-to-end tutorial in which we have a server and we have a client which is using libcurl. So before starting that, we should know what all APIs we have in libcurl that we can use depending on our uses. Okay. So if you see here, there are list of all the APIs that we can use with libcurl. Okay. So if you click on any of these APIs, for example, if I click in this, you will get a full detailed description of that API. For example, if you see here, curl easy init, create an easy handle. Okay, and we have this header file that is been included along with the API name and description about that. Also, we'll get the protocol affected by this, and we will get a short example over here. So what we are doing here, we are just initializing our handle, then we'll set the option for URL and getting some data from this web server. It's example.com, and then we'll shoot that data to the server and we'll get the cleanup. A simple example. So availability from curl 7.1, and we also can see these of all the APIs. Okay, so it will give you a complete description of each of the API that we are using. So you should take a reference from it. Okay, and it also give you a brief idea like what all things are there you can do with libcurl. Write down this URL link. Now let's get started. So if you see here, this is the design of our client server program. Okay. So the server will be using as a Python server. And if you check the flow first here, we have a C client application first. And this client application is using libcurl APIs. For example, it will start with curl easy init. Then it will set some of the options. So what are the options? That will be the curl of URL, your HTTP get or post related flags, along with HTTP headers if we want to include. And now we have the curl up write function, which will print get the value from the server. Okay. Once we configure these all things, we have to perform this curl easy perform, which will send a packet to the server to get the data. Okay, so this all will be done from the libcurl, and it will be using the TCP connection, the TLS, that is HTTPS, as well as the DNS HTTPS things, and it will send a HTTP request. Okay, so once your HTTP request is sent, it will get into the server. So this is a REST server we have. Okay, it's a Python based server. And what it will do, it will do a response. It will give you 200 okay in JSON, HTML, or any other file format as well. And it will get back to our client libcurl library, and it will get into this write function where you'll get the response from the server and it will be printed in your application. So full end-to-end flow where it is started and where it ends. So once it get the data, it will be end up in this C application. Okay, so this is the overall flow of our program which we'll be writing. So first we'll take a look what all things we have now. So if you see here, I have a server dot. So let's open it. What is there in that? So if you see from the starting, I have a simple HTTP server here. Okay, so it's based on the Python. So I'm not going deep into that. So first thing is we have a few of the APIs that has been handled here. First is this hello from Python HTTP server. This will be printed once we hit the server. Okay, so we have one API path as well. So API device, something like that, and it will give you response in a JSON format. Also, it will send you 200 OK along with this content. Okay. Also, if you have a right, a wrong input, then it will give you 404 and it will end with the helper. So if you use a post on the server, what it will do? It will receive the post and it will give you some JSON data along with 204. Okay. And in case of RL, it will 404. And here we have spawned a server at this location, um, 0000 and 80804. So here we will get a function. So here we have a HTTP server running. So for running this, what I will do, I'll just do Python free and server dot py. So if you see here, our server will be running at 8080 port. I'll take a new terminal. Okay. And so if you see here, your Python server is running. Okay. So how to check it from a web server? If I open my browser and if I just do this, I'll get this hello from the Python HTTP server. So our GET request on this server is working. Okay. So what I will do, it will get the request to the server and it will get the data from there. Simple as that. Okay. So if you see from the starting, I have included a curl.h library file here. Okay. So this is required for compilation of these functions for this curl. Okay. So the first, if you see here, our first function is a global init. We'll set up an environment for our program using libcurl. The first here is curl is init. So it will give you some handle. We'll check that handle whether it is fine or not. Okay. So if it passes, then we will check for this URL. Okay. So we are setting the URL of our server. And next, I am setting a write function. This is a write callback. What it will do, the data which we get from this server, it will be uh, you know getting back into this function and will write it in std out. So if you see this function is nothing else just a f write on std out. So it will print something on your console. So whatever you get from that server. So server path is here. We are hitting get on this API. And this one is curl easy perform. What it will do, it will send your packet HTTP packet to the server to get the response from that. So once you get the response, you will check whether it is correct or not. So depending on that, you will give you a error and you will done a cleanup after that. So simple as that. There are only few APIs we use. Okay, so from that you will get some data from the server. So what we will do, we'll just run it. Okay, I will do GCC hyphen o, and we have the server get, and we have libcurl underscore get dot c. And if I run this, your APIs are not being referred. So it means you have to include a library. So I'll include my library here, alcohol, and now it got working. So what I will do here, I'll just run this function over here. So you see here, you will get some response. Device is test device and status is online. So it's hitting that API and getting the values. So if you see on the server side, this is the last one which we triggered. Okay. So here you will get a 200 okay as well. Okay. So the get API on this function is set, and you will get a JSON response from that. Okay. So if you see here, the device is online, this test device. So if you check the server side, what is there? So if you see here, this API, whatever is there, you will get a JSON data. So you are getting the correct data from here. Okay, so we can take one more amendment of that. So what I will do, in spite of hitting of an API path, I will directly try to hit this thing only. And let's see what is the result. So I'll compile it again. Okay, simple as that. And if I now do this, you will get a hello from Python HTTP server. Okay, and if you see here, you'll get a response of 200 on that server. So simple as that. So this is the get request on the server. So what if we need the post one? So for that, I have created a new program. So what I will do here, I will have a post.c. So it's same. So what is the data we have changed? So if you see here, we have global in it. Okay. So now I have this curl easy init set option. So first is the server path. Okay. So if you see here, then we have a post field. So this is required if you are enabling the post on your HTTP request. So here we have the post field, and we are input this JSON data which will be sent as a part of the packet. And this is something related to an IoT device that is sending some temperature to the server to record it. Okay. So I am embedding this JSON data in our post request. And for the post request, what I have done here, I put the header so that the server can understand. So this data is in the JSON format. So simple as that. And here I am putting this under HTTP headers. Then we have a write function over here. Then we'll perform this send request onto the server. So if you get an error, we'll get this thing. If it is working, then it will free the headers, it will clean up and global cleanup. Simple as that. So the main part, if you see here, is this JSON data which we are sending to the server to process. Okay. So simple as that. So this one is std out only. So if you compile this one now, so I will do gcc hyphen o. I have HTTP post binary, and okay, sorry. Now if I post this data. So we'll see here your result is success and the message is data is received. So if you see in the server side, so you have a post receive on the server, that is test temp and temperature is 85, and you are getting this response 200 OK from the server to the client. This is the server side and this is the client side. So client, we are getting the data that server has sent us. So server, if you see again, server have some data here. So this is the post request output that we are sending to the client. So simple as that. So, and if you have any doubt regarding this thing, you can post a comment. I'm happy to help you. So thanks for watching my video. See you in the next session.